ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. 응답하라 여친.
Go to the end of the shit.
Back to the 경 to the Jew. Hey, do you notice like every time I sound different when I do that?
Really?
Do you think I try to?
No, I don't think so.
I like try to hear for you as if I'm like harmonizing, but I'm not.
Oh.
But I'm not. I'm like, what am I? Or maybe it's the same and I just don't know. But I'm all like, I'm gonna listen for her tune.
You're gonna match.
You're here.
Uh-huh.
I'm here. It reminds me
Okay.
of my husband. One time we were singing. He's like, "Are you trying to harmonize with me? I'm over here. Why are you here?" Ew! Don't ever marry a music man. So embarrassing.
I think it'll be
I stopped
fun.
singing because of him.
Aw.
He'll be like singing, and then
Yeah.
I'll try to sing along. He'll be like,
Uh-huh.
he'll give me the worst
Yeah.
side. He'll be like, "You are on the wrong note." Oh,
Aw.
Jane.
Yes.
We are reply yachins,
Yes.
meaning the whole inspiration
The
of
whole
our name
premise, yeah,
is that
so
we would get letters or
Mhm.
people would want to talk to us. And we have a submission.
Okay,
And this was
great.
a really good one. So I'm going to read you the full thing, okay? Starting out with, I absolutely love you guys.
Yay.
Ah! We love the love. Thank you,
you.
listener. I follow both of you on TikTok and, of course, on the podcast. I have a question. Our family threw our daughter an end of the year party and invited her entire class. A few families showed up early and were helping us set up. My mom, who is Indonesian, I'm sharing this because it matters to the story, who is visiting from out of town, wanted to tape these decoration tissue bulbs on the entryway and started asking people who were tall enough or if someone could jump on with tape. One of the moms said she can't jump, but her husband definitely could and waved him over. My mom then looked straight at him in the face and said, "Okay, Chinaman, can you jump?"
Okay,
Continue.
Chinaman.
Yeah. The husband and wife are Korean. I immediately was mortified, all caps, and shot my mom a look. My mom gave out a huge laugh while the wife, the husband, and I awkwardly shuffled around and finished putting up the decorations. As I write this, I wish I had said something in the moment, but I was too stunned to speak. I always knew my mom had strong feelings about other Asians. Lately, she's been incredibly more vocal about her dislike, let's be real, racism, towards other Asians. I've always struggled with this with her because she's such a crusader for anti-xenophobia, but in the same breath will say something like she did above. In addition, our daughter's school is predominantly Vietnamese and Korean, and I'm beyond excited about that because I grew up in an all-white kids school and didn't get to connect with other Asians the way my daughter is going to. My question, comment, thoughts, I don't know, is this a generational thing? Are Asian parents, grandparents being xenophobic or racist towards other Asians? I have always known of the jungle Asian division. I've been called that before, but it seems to be less of a thing with the younger generations. And would you talk to your mom about this? How? Also, I feel like I should text the mom something. Yeah? Question. Our kids have gotten really close this past year, and it also just feels like the right thing to do. But what if she didn't hear or he didn't hear, and I was the only one that could make it out clearly? My mom has a painfully thick Indonesian accent, so that is a possibility. Okay, I'm spiraling.
Okay, so my first thoughts, I'm assuming this message came in recently. I hope you reached out and just, send a message. I would have sent a message to
I would have also
the mom and said, "Hey, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry my mom said that."
Yeah.
You know, just apologize
Yes.
for it.
One thing, for me personally, I mean, almost, I do this to a fault almost.
Mhm.
If there's anything weird, I like to just directly head
Yeah.
on address it. I do
Yeah.
not like unknowns
Yes.
in that mannerism.
Absolutely. And the sooner you do it, the better.
Yeah.
And I know this from personal experience because I have had friends call me immediately, like the next day or whatever. Like, "Hey, I said this, but I think it came off this way. I'm so sorry." And
You're usually the recipient.
I'm usually the recipient, and every time I was so appreciative, even when I was not offended
You weren't even thinking about it,
any
but
of
you
those
liked
times.
that
Yes.
you knew.
Yeah. So
Okay.
every time that happens, I was, you know, I made it a point to say, but thank you so much. And because that's a lesson to me. That's all it takes. Like,
Right.
was it awkward?
Yeah.
No. Like, did I appreciate them communicating that and contemplating that? And then,
Yeah.
you know, and then
Have there been times where you thought something and someone reached out to clarify, and then they squashed whatever? Like,
no.
you've never had that.
Yeah. So not that I can pinpoint right now.
Okay.
Yeah. So only good things, or
Yeah.
maybe it's only the good things that I'm
So
remembering.
you're saying it's better.
It's better to just clear the air.
Yeah, I also
if you
think
feel
that.
if you feel a certain way about it.
If you
Yeah.
say you guys were awkwardly shuffling, that means there was something there,
Then
right?
some kind of awkwardness was felt.
Yeah.
So I think,
And if it came from you, maybe it came from the person just because, let's say, just only you heard it and you started acting awkward. But they could have just perceived the only awkward part from you and wondered what's up, right?
Yeah.
So I think in communication in those arenas, when you're unsure, it's better to just talk it out.
Yeah.
Say your piece. I
Yeah.
always, I would rather the person knew what I was thinking than not.
Yeah. And you know, it's hard to get tone and all the context from that written question scenario, but I imagine her mom was just very casually like,
Yeah.
okay, Chinaman.
Yeah. Listen,
Not
context
that-
is important.
Yeah, not that it was okay, but you
if
know,
I heard that from
they're
a white
all-
grandma,
yes. So context, they're all Asian.
be like, say what?
Yeah.
But if you hear from another Asian mom, you're like, because our Asian moms say shit that just like, what?
Yeah.
My mother-in-law does it all the time.
I did not get the impression she said it in a derogatory way, more observational.
Yeah, like maybe, like genuinely thought he was Chinese.
Yeah.
And said,
It could have been as
"China,
simple
man."
as
Yeah, like it's her broken English. You know, if you
Chinese man, China man. Yeah. If it was a recognized
Like,
slur or derogatory
Yeah.
term, then that is, you know,
Right.
okay, overtly, you know.
like if in language she
Racist, but-
regularly
Yeah.
misuses like words that way, then I think you can tell, especially because she's saying she has a really thick accent. Even that was probably hard to understand. I would, yeah.
But to her question, I do think it's a generational thing.
Totally.
Yeah, and it's it gets better and better with each generation.
Oh my God.
I mean, where our kids are what now, second, third generation,
Yeah.
and they don't really know. You know, I'm answering questions like, "What's Asian?" Right?
Yeah.
They don't know that yet. That sense is still developing. But we are also our generation, kids of immigrants. We grew up here, and
Yeah.
we've had to build an experience where we have solidarity with our other Asian American fellow Asian Americans.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't have that. They had distinctions of where you came from.
And
So
yeah.
that question of where are you from, that was much more on their minds,
Right.
because it mattered. It mattered to them because they also were probably treated differently
Yes.
based on what kind of Asian they were.
And also, I think they saw themselves as outsiders.
Yeah.
They never felt home, and like they left their home to
Yeah.
start a new life
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times and felt like my parents repeatedly told me, like, you know, white people tell you how to be here. Like, you have to follow the rules here.
Yeah.
And it was clear to me they never felt like, until, now I'm sure they would say so, but like they always tiptoed around, like they were going to get ostracized if they didn't behave a certain way. So I think, you know, they themselves saw that they were foreigners.
Yeah. And did your parents have strong feelings about different Asian groups?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely a thing. There's racism within the Asian community.
Yeah.
And Koreans, let's be honest, it's such a, what I said once? Somebody was asking me, I can't remember how I phrased it, but what I feel like Korea is at now, because we used to be not known. Nobody knew what Korea was.
Yeah, correct.
It was always like Japan and China.
Yeah, my mom's
Korea.
5th grade teacher in LA did not know where to find Korea on the map.
What's Korea? Back when we were growing up, it was like saying to white people like, oh, I'm from, I mean, they didn't know like Philippines either or something like until now Filipinos, Koreans, the different Asian groups are much more talked about. But back in our day, it was like you were they only knew of Japan and China.
Yeah.
And we as Koreans also were like, we got to outshine Japan because there's this like long history, of course, and we got to, but now we're at this place where Korea has like such eyes internationally on, where how I explain it? I'm like, imagine like Lindsay Lohan and Mean Girls. Like we were nobodies.
and now we're somebodies.
Now we don't know we don't know how to act.
Yeah.
We don't know how to be about it. Isn't that such a good one?
That's a good analogy.
Yeah, like Japan is Regina. And we didn't know how to be, and now we're one of the cool kids. And it's like, oh my God, how do we act? But Korea always also, correct me if I'm wrong, we think Korean, not we, but Korean people and Korean culture think that they're better than like Vietnamese, Laos, Philippines,
Yeah, they absolutely think that. That was what was told to me by my grandparents. Yeah, they say it.
무시해. 무시해 means like look down. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And that's why there's so much coverage now on how a lot of immigrant workers in Korea from the Philippines get treated.
Yes.
And that
actually is like not too different from how, a lot of at my grandpa's nursing home, a lot of the nurses are Filipino. And my grandpa would say terrible things. Generalizing.
You're directly,
generalizing.
Yeah,
about
like,
them.
These Filipinos don't know how to take care of me properly, that kind of thing,
exactly,
right?
that kind of thing.
Yeah. My mom, once I bought her a purse, didn't want it because she's like, the Vietnamese next door have it. Like, they've made it cheap now because they're carrying this 500 purse you got me.
Goodness.
Like, they're making it look cheap for you.
Yeah.
They have a thriving business. We're barely paying, making rent. What delusion are you under? But luckily, how do you think we did not get absorbed into that mentality?
I think we did, like when I was younger, right? I had Korean friends and
for me, growing up, I did not, because I was like, they look so much happier than my family. For me, I was so miserable. I was constantly like, well, they look richer and they look happier and they're always laughing. So I don't know what you're talking about. My parents are always like, we're the best. I'm like, are we?
So for me, I think I was very insulated. I had a very tight Korean group, and I also went to Korean church. So for me, it wasn't until like college, I think, that everything expanded for me. Yeah. And then having to build solidarity with other Asian Americans, because I realized how I'm viewed in this country. So for me, it wasn't until I in college, and then it was like building, and then realizing, I never identified as Asian American until I was out working in the real world. When I joined the Asian American Journalists Association, right? And then we're in this association together, but we're a very diverse group, a diverse
Yes,
organization.
yes.
But
Asian
realizing
is such a blanket term.
it's a blanket term, but realizing a lot of us have very similar experiences
Yeah.
and barriers that we face in
Yeah.
the workplace because we're lumped together.
Yeah.
Like you're Asian, right?
Yeah.
So
There's
it wasn't
pros
until
and
then.
cons to that,
Yeah.
right? I do love that in America, there's so many like different cultures that are building community together.
mhm.
That I think is the beauty of Asian American
Mhm.
experience. But at the same time, it's like we cannot be switched out for the other, even though like even in like when I go in for a casting, they're like any Asian will do.
Yeah, right. I know. Well, that's how we're viewed, and so that's why I think with our generation and then with our kids' generation, it's sure like we all have histories and reasons for why we had these biases against different Asian people, but living here, being generations of American,
Yeah.
you have to have this almost third identity.
Yeah.
As we are, different, diverse, but gotta have this identity that we're kind of
Unified.
together. You're
Yeah.
unified. Yeah.
Because
But we can't expect that. Yeah. And I think it's a little bit more context is everything again, right?
Right.
For our parents and grandparents' generation.
Yeah.
You let that go a
And
little
I
bit
think,
because it had to do with their formation.
Yeah.
And they had different experiences.
And I think you can commiserate with another parents.
Yeah.
They're like, oh my God, I'm sure they have
Yeah.
parents that are immigrants, or their grandparents,
I think if anything, if I were in that situation and I was on the receiving end of it, I would have just chuckled and said,
Yeah.
we're all like this.
Yeah,
you
like,
know?
don't worry,
Yeah,
we
I
get
mean,
it.
Yeah, it's your
and I've
mom.
been in that scenario,
Yeah.
like, oh my gosh,
Yeah.
it's so funny.
And did you see the movie Joyride?
Yeah.
And when they're talking about when the main character, she lives her whole life thinking she's Chinese and then they find out she's Korean. They're like, oh, no wonder your face is so round.
Yeah, it's like, oh my God, the shit you say,
Yeah,
right? But I think we're so, I mean, it doesn't make it right.
No.
But I think, like you said, being the new generation, we understand that we bridge the gap.
Yeah.
And we can take the step to look at there's so many factors. Like their English isn't great.
Yeah.
They're trying to express, they weren't trying to be insulting. Let's read between the lines and let it go.
So I think in that situation, absolutely okay to
but
address it.
And laugh
say,
oh, sorry, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's fine. And in terms of I don't know, like how much is too much in policing your own older generation?
Oh,
like I've given up.
I
you
try
give
not
up
to.
a lot, right?
Yeah. I don't police my grandpa. But
Yeah. My brother-in-law we have a group chat.
Yeah.
The brothers, my Filipino mother-in-law, her news channel is always Fox News. And we're like, how can we go in the TV settings and lock it out? Because she's like that. The way, I mean, it's embarrassing. The way like Donald Trump talks is like that old man, like, we gotta get America back to and what they have in common is that old like thinking, right? Like good old America.
Yeah.
And
it's simple. It's not complicated.
Like, I don't want to think. Whenever I try to get my mother-in-law to think, she's like, Ellen, I'm just trying to watch some TV. Like she's like she doesn't want to be bothered, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like there's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
And you gotta. It's a fine line.
I think it's our burden as it's our burden as much as it is our privilege to have lived here.
Yeah.
And had that experience.
And it's
just
a
our burden to
balancing
carry.
act.
It is a balancing act, and I'm learning that much more as I get older.
Like,
I think I was a lot more vocal when I was younger.
yeah.
With
and
my
now I think it's like,
parents and-
okay, how much can I carry out in my own actions?
Yeah.
What my parents lack
Yeah.
in terms of politics and doing the right thing. You know, they mean well, but they're misguided, because I think it also, you know that saying, like, when you get traumatized at a certain age, you get locked in on that age. I think it can apply to a lot of immigrant parents when they came here and things were black and white, and that's how they like to view the world, because it gave them security.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is bad, this is good. I don't want to think about the grays because I got to put food on the table. I don't have the luxury to sit around and, you know, think about the different, you know, casualties of my actions, right?
Yeah.
So I think you can give your older parents grace and put forth in action what you can, you know, make up for their wrongdoing.
Yeah. No, I think you said it really well. It's just that giving them grace based on, you know, they had a different experience and they have a different understanding.
The way they see the world. And I think, I hate to say that, because I hope to not be that old person who becomes set in their ways. Like, I hope to always be ever growing, like, even as I age. I'm 42 now, and I think that I'm always trying to keep up with what's going on. But I can tell the older my, you know, in-laws, they're just giving up. They're just like, the world is how I see it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They're retired. They're trying to live. They're tired. So I you know, I think it's okay to let them be.
Yeah. So I want to bring up something else, is like, I think there's a distinction between that and giving grace to, like, that, like, our parents, grandparents generation being, you know, having prejudices against other people, versus racism that's come down generations and generations.
Yes.
That's still very
right.
Permeates everything in this country.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
I mean, I will still put my foot down when my mother-in-law will, like, say something super out of pocket.
Yes.
I'll be like, no, you got the facts wrong. Like, I will correct her.
Yeah.
But when you see the intent in this situation, I think the mother was trying to be like, oh, I'm getting help, and got excited. And she was, we laughed when we read this, because we can visualize, right? She means well. What is, like, my mother-in-law will be like, oh, look at, you made this, japchae, when I made a noodle dish and it wasn't japchae. I'm like, no, do not tell people this is japchae. It's not. It's just a noodle thing I put together because it's all I had.
Yeah.
Like, I would be embarrassed if anybody, like, walked in here thinking this was japchae, right?
Yeah.
But she was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she's not.
Yeah, I know.
She's not, you know, thinking about it too much.
No.
Yeah.
It's like when
you gotta pick your battles.
Yeah. You gotta pick your battles. It's like, are you gonna correct your 93-year-old neighbor when they say, "Oh, you little Oriental family"? No.
Has that ever happened to you?
No, it hasn't happened to me. But I mean, I have been referred to as Oriental.
Yeah.
But it's different when it's like somebody of, like, a couple generations ago, and, like, someone that's my
I know everybody
age.
says Google is free, but truly, like, the
not
old
gonna-
folks are not going on Google and
No.
researching what the proper way to call an Asian person is. You know what I mean? So,
and you still have places. I just crack up because, you know, you get these random Facebook groups, like recipe groups, and it's like, I saw one post recently that was like, oh, I picked these up at the Oriental Market, and so many comments of that's not, like, you shouldn't call it Oriental Market, and then other comments like, that's actually
what
the
it's
name
called.
Still, that's just what I was referring to. It's like,
we gotta
calm down.
choose our battles.
Yeah.
We gotta prior. If anything, I think that this friendship, because it sounded like she doesn't know those parents that well, they could actually become better friends.
Yeah.
Like you could reach out and say, oh, the whole parent thing, like, oh, I'm so embarrassed. And it just breaks the ice.
Yeah.
And, I think that's a common bonding experience to have immigrant parents.
Yeah.
And be able to relate to one another in that way.
Yeah. And I think it's a really good thing to have conversations. I mean, even as much as I identify as Asian American, like when I encounter other like non-Korean Asian people, I realize like how much I don't know about Vietnamese culture or Filipino culture, and I have to ask.
It's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. Yeah. And that would be terrible if we just assumed like because we're Asian, we're like same. We're same, you know? And then there's like end to curiosity. No.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, that just reminded me that I had this I don't know if you saw the post about this white woman with the pregnant belly on TikTok that was like, you guys, I'm gonna have a baby and I'm just like so excited. And I'm just wondering what my baby's gonna look like because I'm, as you can see, white, but I married 100% Vietnamese man. And I just have like never seen a child where the mom was white and the dad was Asian. Like, can you all duet this or stitch this if you're Asian with the white mom?
She's not for real, right? She not for real.
She was.
Where does she live?
Oh my God. But the audacity.
Oh my God.
Can you, how does the brain work like that? I would never. I have Korean Filipino children. Never in my wildest dream would I think to go on the internet and be like, hey, Korean mom here didn't ever see a Korean woman with a Filipino man.
Yeah. So can you duet this and show me?
Show me. Put it on me.
Ew. There's an example of somebody who is not involved with every. No.
It was so. It just grossed me out so much. And this is why, Jane, they say the mixed children were having this discussion on TikTok a little while back. Like, actually, I think it's from what I saw, it started in the Black community. And they're like, oh my gosh, in the Black community, the half Black children, the lighter their skin, the more toxic they are. There was one group saying that. And then another discussion was, no. It's not always that. It's sometimes if the mom is white. Wait a minute. Blake? Or isn't Blake, does Blake have a white mom? Blake, are you listening? Did Blake leave? Oh, no. So the discussion then became, if you're a mixed child, then if your mom is white. So somebody was like, you know who the toxic mixed children are? The ones that have white moms.
But this is okay.
So then
the white women.
That started in the Black community, that discussion.
Okay.
Then
and that discussion was within the Black community.
Yeah, and then it expanded from what I saw.
Okay.
Then it expanded into the Asian community. They're like, oh, I can also second that. Like, I knew this kid that's Asian, white Asian, but the mom was white, and it was like the most toxic motherfucker I ever met. But I was like, and then when I saw this mom approaching, of course it's great to be excited about your child, right?
Yeah, your child,
Yes, be excited about your child. Of course you're going to be curious every day, like wondering, oh my God, I wonder what my child will look like.
Yeah.
I wondered it too.
Yeah.
But it's the act of like putting it out there as like a roll call or casting call, like you know, there's just something really ick about demanding, like objectifying your unborn child,
it's the
right?
Objectifying,
like oh my gosh,
and the commodifying,
like you're producing. Also, what makes you think that a white mom versus with an Asian dad versus a white dad with the Asian mom.
It's the same genetic makeup. I know. That's my question too. Like that's my take too. Like
basic genealogy or science. I was so floored by it. I made a video. I was like, this is that toxic white mom that the kids were talking about. Not all white moms, but this is the one.
Yeah.
And then people got mad at me for saying that. They're like, oh, you just hate all white women. I'm like, not all. Not all. Just the stupid ones. We can never, I will never run out of content. I will never run out of content because I don't think racism will ever come
be
to an
eradicated.
end. Yeah, in my lifetime, not certainly.
No.
And these are and this was because we don't teach critical race theory. We're not on the same page.
No.
You know, you don't want to listen to the experiences of, you know, the POCs in this country, the Black Indigenous voices. It's written, all the history that's written is written by white people, and then that gets regurgitated. You're never going to understand race if you talk only within yourself. And then you got stupid, you know, women like this that are like, oh my God, what is my child going to look like? It's going to be so different. And the idea that this woman is going to base her whole personality on her child being
mixed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's such a thing.
Yeah.
This is childhood trauma before the child is even here.
It's like her one distinction.
Yeah, it's like, I get it. You don't have a personality and you're excited about this, but oh my God, I don't even know. It will not end in our lifetime.
No. the among different Asians that might maybe, you know.
Yeah, I do feel there is in an Asian. There's solidarity.
There's solidarity
among
for sure.
Asian Americans that I think is beautiful to see. I mean, hey, within my own marriage.
Yes, and I love being in a group, and then like you like when you're in a room and you see other Asian people, you just know that they know that you're there too.
Yeah,
and nothing has to be said. Yeah.
There is, and I think that's truly beautiful coming from, you know, our upbringing where Korean people were making the distinction, we're better, and this group doesn't get us. Like, actually, we have, both of us have sat at the table with our Asian friends from all over, and we have the best times. Like, that's what being Asian American. Although this triggered another TikTok. Sorry, you always ask me like what TikToks come on my page. It's all race related ones. There's I saw one where this Korean woman made one, and it was when they say you're Asian but you're 100% Korean.
What? What does that even mean?
I was like, ew. It reminded me of that kid that I told you about that was so angry that he got called Filipino when he's Korean.
Oh yeah.
I was like, girl, like.
Oh.
So there are always going to be the toxic ones in every group.
Yeah.
I should make a video of that video. But yeah, I love getting questions from our listeners.
Yeah.
We have actually others, but we'll cover those in another episode. But it's like, Jane, we have our little following.
Yes,
and
we do.
surely, but steadily, we're growing like one account a day. I do love this time with you so much. I think we were talking about, you know whose account that I've been following, which is so weird for me to say, that I get kind of like bursts of energy from. And this is surprising even to myself.
Yeah.
Will Smith.
Oh, that is so random. I never would have guessed.
I know.
Yeah, very random.
Well, and I say this after the whole Oscar debacle, right? You would think this man would just bury his head and never come out of anywhere. But after that incident, I felt like I mean, of course he was apologetic, but I sensed there was actual like guilt and sincerely feeling wrongdoing. And there was a recent, but then I've seen him, he never backed away from his Instagram, which he was very active on. He kept making content. And it's always like him going out, posting funny things, or even reposting other funny things and captioning like, this brought me a lot of joy today. He just kept going.
Yeah.
So even though he's now been rejected from the academy and I think banned. I think that I heard that he was like banned from. And he took that. He was like, yeah, I deserve that. I took that. And then recently I saw a post where he like said true wealth in life is like time, health, being surrounded by your loved ones, and like I think peace or something. And I was just like, wow, he fell from grace so hard. But also Bad Boys is like broke box office numbers apparently.
Wow.
And he's going and marketing it and he's busy. And I just thought, how did this, I mean, what happened with the Oscars and all the immense shit talking that he got? I mean, he was in the wrong, clearly. But I thought, wow, like, I don't know if I could lift my head again after something like that.
Yeah.
And he's just been going and going. I mean, doing, you know, like making it Bad Boys, continues to make movies.
Yeah.
I don't know, just random. I just came across, I guess I followed him and I didn't know that. But I was like, he just keeps going. And I found that very inspiring.
Yeah, I guess that's inspiring in today's day and age.
And
where
you know, I don't
get canceled.
Yes,
and then it's like,
and he was thoroughly canceled, right? And I don't. You know, I always make fun of apologies, but he apologized and kept doing his thing, like just like, okay, I'm just gonna put my head down and work.
Yeah, yeah.
And I thought, wow. I don't know. That was my little inspiration.
Maybe
side
that's
note.
all it takes is just take the correction.
Yeah.
And
take
forward.
The L.
Yeah, take
as the
the
kids
L.
say.
My God,
and
I got
think he
schooled.
did.
Yeah.
He really got humiliated.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he didn't, he said, yeah, I was in the wrong. And he just.
We would be such a better place if we could just call out all the racists and they would just take it and then digest it
instead of doubling down and
then be better, do better.
Oh my God, I keep getting I don't even, I'm so desensitized from, so somebody got mad. I did a live talking about that pregnant lady and how weird it was. All of a sudden, my live, usually I only have like 10 to 12 people that I know all by name. And it's like a little, all of a sudden my live again jumped to like 500, 600 people.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that happen with lives? It's
I
like
swear
the
this
live
app
goes
hates me.
viral, kind of.
It starts pushing me to, I think, people
who've been engaged in those types of
and who hate my content. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, it's crazy. And then you know what's funny is my followers will be like, Ellen, your numbers are growing too fast.
They know that's the red flag time too.
Yeah, so they give me, I'm like, okay, then that's when I say, you know what, you're right. I gotta go. Boom. I get out before they can boot me out.
Yeah.
Another one told me, Ellen, I just gotta.
Because that's why they're coming on.
I think so.
Shut you down.
Yeah. I'm like.
That's unfortunate.
I don't know if they like are in a Discord together and be like, Ellen's up. Let's go get her now, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But the way it grows is that's not normal, right? So I'm like, there's a network apparently just out there too.
People with too many people out there with too much time.
And then another one was like, Ellen, one of my followers was like, I just got a warning asking me if this is safe content. That means someone reported me.
Oh.
So now it's sending it. And so when I got that notice, I'm like, I'm going to boot out. So so even when I get the numbers, it's not good news for me.
Ugh.
Well, I can't win.
Your community is looking out for you.
Yes, that is very heartfelt in my lives. I know, like I said, like the 10 to 12 people that come on regularly, I know them all by names. And they share like these life stories. Like, and I get, like, I know when somebody is, you know, been out of a job and been looking for work and they're on a contract, but it makes them nervous. I know that another person that, started going to the doctor because it's a kid, but she's like worried that it's going to be cancer. Like I know all these stories and I know by name, and it's like, I don't really make money on there. I've told you that. And that's why I don't tire out of it.
Yeah.
Because it's become a place of community for me. And you can't have it all.
Mm-mm.
And you remind me that because Jane actually does get a lot of brand deals, but she's like exhausted all the time. She's like, oh my God. Like I'm like, what's that
I'm
like?
like, there has to be some more people that feel the way I do.
Oh,
I'm
absolutely.
Like, can people
absolutely.
just handle this? Because I don't like it. I don't
you
like
do it so
feeling
well,
like
though. Like no one would think
no.
that you have all these struggles.
No.
And I think that's why brands reach out to you, because you do make it look so you're not organic, because you yourself are such a skeptic.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's why you make content that's actually like how would I, you think about that.
Yeah.
How would I receive this content?
Yeah.
And it shows because you don't do all those like cringy, like
gimmicky stuff.
I
hope not. I mean,
no. Oh my God. Speaking of cringe,
yeah.
I don't know if you know this. Sorry, I'm going on so many tangents, but this is how girlfriends really talk, right? Do you know this creator, Kristen? I forget her real, like Christine something. She's huge, and she always makes content with her boyfriend.
No.
Okay, but they've been together forever.
Okay.
Like forever, ever. And then she sang along to a song. She's like, well, it was like a Taylor Swift song. Like, it was like, we've been together 12 years. As she's dancing with them, like, is he going to ever put a ring on it or something like that? And it said in the caption, like, we've been together 12 years and no ring. And I'm like, but she put it out there. Like, and I feel like it puts a timer on it now. And everybody's like, bro, Devin. No. The boyfriend is Devin.
I don't think I'm knowing who.
Yeah.
Who
I don't know how they always end up on my page, but I'm like, do you think he's like chuckling, right? You already think it's a bad sign.
Yeah. Well,
aren't you so glad you never did your TikTok page with Ben?
I mean, he's been in some of it, right?
Right, but not like nobody knows you as the couple.
Yeah. That's really hard. I know. That's sad.
I mean, actually, people do know Adonis.
Yeah.
But not like,
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's not like you're doing content together.
He's always like, can you just let me go now? I don't want to be. No, thank you.
We feel like we've been on TikTok like an eternity, because it's been like 4 years now. And how many people
how many media years
breakups have you seen? I mean, we've
so
seen
many
sister breakups with that cult. We've seen like couples break up and move on.
You know Kat? Do you know that one?
Yeah. Kat Stickler.
Yeah, and then they get together with other creators, and you're like, how is there a creator dating app? Like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's right there. It's
Worlds
TikTok.
collide.
Yeah,
like, I don't know if I like this. I don't know why I don't like it, but I don't like it.
It's like you're getting too much. It's too much, like in too much of an insider. View.
Speaking
and you're
of,
seeing it real time, and
and I'm totally on tangent with that.
Yeah,
you know who I see too much of on TikTok on doing lives?
Who?
Singles Inferno cast.
Oh, which one? Oh, really? That's so interesting.
It's so cringe. He's like, oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And we liked Mingyu, didn't we?
Yeah.
The Coast Guard
guy?
Yeah,
I'm like, don't you have lives to save in the ocean?
This is their life now.
He's always live. And the other guy, Wanik?
Oh, he's always live, and I don't know why.
I hate it.
You had the least
lowest
amount of game on the show.
I hate it. And I hate it. I'm like, you had Singles Inferno fame. Can't you go do something with that?
Because that was their but that was their launching point.
Right, like the girl that Kanye dated. That one. I saw a huge billboard of her in Korea. I'm like, she's making something of her career. Go do something. You shouldn't be.
Oh, so you're saying this is like the second tier. People who are not like out there doing.
I'm doing a live. What are you doing a live? Like it's weird. He's always live. I hate it.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
They just like really love their fans.
It's so annoying. I don't know why it bothers me so much. It's just weird. Like, I feel like, especially because they had decent jobs. Coast Guard.
Yeah.
Are you not with the Coast Guard anymore?
Maybe he's making more money now
Oh,
than he ever
God.
did as Coast Guard, which is
I hate
sad.
that.
Yeah. Well, that's the world that we're living in.
Not me. I'm always going to be this petty bitch because I don't make money. I don't know how people are making money. I'm not smart that way.
I don't think it's yeah. I don't know.
No, it's the price I pay for being able to say whatever the fuck I want to say.
Yeah, and you
So-
want your life, and you know.
So I will never
there's-
change that because I want to say all the shit I want to say. Which is also why we have this podcast, and I can say everything to Jane, and she doesn't judge me. She looks at me like, Jane, I know. Sometimes I look at you, and I can see like an inside.
Really?
But I think it's funny. I love it. I love making you laugh. And on that note, we're gonna go.
Send us more DMs, more
yeah.
scenarios.
I'm
We
like,
love
we're gonna go
talking
eat
about it and
something.
replying to you.
DMs. Ooh, slide into our DMs. Bye.